What is up, guys? Eric here from Real Film Reviews, bringing you another movie review, this time for the new Rob Lowe film, Super Troopers 2. Super Troopers 2 is the sequel to Super Troopers, the original film that came out all the way back in 2002. This film was crowdfunded for $4 million+ on Indiegogo so that it could be made by fans that loved the first, and then after making that money was able to pull in investors and get actually a pretty decent budget of $15 million to get the film all made. Super Troopers 2 tells the story of all your favorite characters from the first film as they are moved up into this small town that was thought to be in Canada but is actually in the United States territory, and they are sort of the transition team there as they take over for a group of Mounties that previously patrolled the area, and all of the people there kind of hate that they're there because they want to be Canadians and not Americans. The plot of the film is actually really funny. I think that the idea of sort of taking them out of the comfort zone of the first film and putting them in this new area definitely lends itself to bringing some fresh new comedy into the film, and I think that it worked well. All of the sort of like Canada-based jokes that they make are very funny, they feel very fresh, and they don't feel like anything that was in the original movie, which is very good, along with adding sort of the new characters of Rob Lowe, who's the mayor of this town, who's hilarious, and the little Mountie unit that's also very funny with their banter back and forth with the Super Troopers. It was a very entertaining plot, and the setting helped make for a lot of very funny situations. The film definitely harkens back to a lot of those old nostalgic moments from the first film to bring in some familiar comedy that we all know and love from the first one, and then also bringing in new comedy that doesn't feel so off-brand compared to the first and is still funny and very fitting with the story and the characters that we know in the film. All of your favorite characters from the first film come back in this one, whether they have a big role or a small role. Basically all of the notable characters from the first one are seen again in this movie, and I thought that that was really awesome to see. Many of them are up to some of their same crazy antics as the first one, like Farva. Some of them have changed and become different characters, which I also really enjoyed, because I feel like this movie definitely needed to feel fresh, being as it's a sequel to a film from 15 years ago, and I think it did successfully do that. In all honesty, the movie's just kind of this big, silly, dumb comedy, and I think that it knew exactly what it was when it was made. That being said, there definitely are issues with it, and I think that that is one of the issues, is that this is definitely a very specific kind of comedy. This has a niche audience where there are a lot of people, specifically critics, who will go see a movie like this and say this is just a bunch of dumb, immature comedy that's not funny. And I can't say I completely disagree. There definitely are a decent amount of jokes in this film that entirely missed their mark for me, where I was watching it and I was like, I get the joke you're going for, but it's just not funny enough that I'm gonna like laugh out loud or absolutely like lose my mind over it. There definitely are some very funny jokes in the film that did make me laugh out loud, but there were also a decent amount where I was just kind of like, like, that's okay, but I feel like they're kind of forcing that joke down my throat where it doesn't really fit. And I feel like that was the issue. Along with that, there also are a few very immature comedic moments and setups in the film where some of them worked and some of them didn't, and I think that that's why this film is getting very mixed reviews. I personally think I fall somewhat into the category of someone who can enjoy a film like this. I wasn't all in, like this is the greatest comedy ever, but some of those immature, really dumb jokes still make me laugh. And then my other issue with it is, while I really enjoy the overarching plot of the film with them going up to the Canadian town and doing all of that, I think that that lent itself to add a lot of new comedy to the film and add jokes that we didn't see in the first. However, I think that it also added sort of this extra layer to the film that made it so we often forgot that there was actually a job that they were trying to do, because they very much forced the Canadian aspect into everything, that there are a lot of moments that we forget that there's actually a big case in the film that they're all supposed to be working to solve. And I feel like because of that, the actual plot and story of what they're supposed to be accomplishing while they're there sometimes gets overshadowed by the fact that they're just in Canada and all these silly Canadians are doing all this stuff, because I feel like they could have gotten more comedy if they would have focused more in-depth on the case and the story, because it doesn't have to be serious, it still could have been silly, because that's what the first Super Troopers did. It focused in on that case that they were trying to solve and made the comedy there, where this one I feel like took the location and then the story and the case that they were trying to solve came second to sort of just the locationary jokes that they could make. I'm gonna give Super Troopers 2 a B-. This film definitely does capture some of the magic of the first Super Troopers that came out all those years ago. If you liked that film, definitely go watch this one. I think that this one is just a big, fun, dumb comedy, and it knows what it is. It's not perfect, but it's definitely a good time to go watch with some friends. And I also do have to say that the fact that this film was able to be made due to them putting an Indiegogo up for it, they raised that $4 million some dollars, and then they got some investors because of that, and this film has basically made back the budget of its entirety in its opening weekend is very impressive, and I'm honestly extremely happy to see where this could lead for film in the future, because this is the first one that we've seen that has truly succeeded at that. Well guys, as always, I'm Eric. If you enjoyed this review, please do like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of Super Troopers 2, share everything we do here on Real Film Reviews, and I hope to see you guys later.